the City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
What is good, everyone? It's your boy Bam. I'm here with Tony and Araceli today. Welcome to episode 369 of the Heart of LAFC podcast. We're calling this podcast Lamar Hunt US Open Cup Champions because that's what we are, baby. Joseph won't be joining us today. He's actually off doing something else. He had a prior arrangement, so you got the three of us today, which is good. We're going to try to make this as quick as possible because, as you probably see, I'm keep looking to my side over here because we got the AFL Grand Final on at the moment. So we're going to get this over as quickly as possible so I can go back to it and keep watching it. So as we get into it, Tony, how are you going today?
I am tired as hell and just still recovering from Wednesday.
Araceli, how are you? How was your flight back home?
Oh, flight back home was great. I mean, it does feel weird that I was in LA this morning and now I'm back in KC. But overall, I mean, it was just great to be back at the bank and get to see everyone and feel the energy from the 3252 again. I think even my parents kind of forgot what that feeling was like because even the day after, that's all my dad could really keep talking about was how he was impressed with the 3252 and how they kept the energy going throughout the entire time. But aside from that, I mean, for me, obviously going into it, it was kind of a win-win situation, little bittersweet. I'm glad to watch LAFC win, but at the same time to see the disappointment on the Sporting players, that was a little bit of an emotional roller coaster in the end, I will admit.
It was. Now we'll jump straight into it. You know, we did make history. You know, we've now won every domestic trophy there is. You know, we've won the US Open Cup now. We've got the Supporters Shield, won the MLS Cup. We've won the Western Conference. So we've won everything that we can domestically. So now I think our main focus should be going on for the international trophies. I want to win all of those. But now that we've won the US Open Cup, Tony, how did we win it? Let's go through the first half, shall we?
First half was honestly just bad. Like we're gonna yes, did we win? 100%, but it was overall a bad game. The first half we did have a lot of chances, but it was just for the level of what we were supposed to be doing in the first half. Mind you, we did have some chances. Lloris stopped some beautiful chances. One from Russell, of course, that got him there. But overall, it was a pretty back and forth, going to be a nail biter until the second half ends up. But first half thoughts, it was just, I didn't know what we were going to do. I felt like we brought the energy and some players decided not to bring that same energy.
Araceli, what did you think of the first half?
I think in the first half, you really felt the passion from the Sporting players because I had even mentioned this when we previewed the final, that Sporting was just going to put everything out on the line. And they did exactly that. You saw Amelia blocking nearly every shot LAFC put against him, except for the opening one, of course. But I think the match, from the LAFC perspective, I do agree with Tony that they really didn't have the energy in the beginning moments.
Yeah. Now, I can't talk too much on the first half because I did miss the whole first half. I did miss the first two goals in the second half too because, unfortunately, I was stuck at work and couldn't really do much in that. So going into halftime, 0-0, you know, as going what Tony Araceli said, both teams had their chances. It wasn't the greatest of the first half. But going into second half, Tony, what changed? What happened in the second half?
Honestly, what ended up happening in the I feel like it was just they kind of gone into the locker room to had some. I don't know if there was a motivational speech or one of the veterans there pretty much decided like this is what we have to do moving forward. You know, I mean, we do have current now, but former winners of the cup in Ilie and Kai. in that as well. So it's just like more of the importance on that. And then finally in the 53rd minute, let's just say, Mr. Drew with a defensive mistake on Kansas City's end, because let's be real, that's how it started. This whole thing was a defensive and just mistake on their end that got us the ball. That Bogus ended up going in. Mind you, I thought Drew was offsides when that play started, and then somehow he was onside. I'm still trying to find other angles of what the ruling is about the onside offside call, but at the end of the day, you get the calls that you get, and they sometimes miss, and sometimes, mind you, the officiating was bad. But Drew opens up the scoring for the goal, 1-0, and 3 minutes later, Drew got a yellow card, maybe for the non-offsides call that he should have gotten, and just got that. And then not even, like I said, 4 minutes later after the yellow card, Eric Tommy, is it Araceli? Okay, because it's like, I want to say like Tommy, like Thomas Tommy, like it's weird, but it's Eric Tommy ends up putting the goal in the back of the net with a nice, again, a very defensive end mistake by Tillman, giving up the ball, having Daniel get the ball, find Tommy there, and Tommy just blasted into the sides and, puts Kansas City right back in it, which is not what we wanted, especially with Kansas City, because again, this Kansas City has won this 4 times, going for their 5th, and they know what they do. And if you give a team a chance into the game, then they will run with it. But we did have one almost putting goal as well. A couple more minutes later, and then we made some substitutions at 67th minute with Drew going out, Oliveira coming in, and Segura coming out, and Campos coming in. And of course, in the 87th minute, we have Long coming out after it seems like he had an injury. It looked like it. We'll come into the reports for the next game if that is true or not. But Sanchez came in, which I was surprised he came in so late. I thought he would have been more of part of the action in the game than how late he came in. But again, ended up the half or the full game before extra time 1-1.
Yeah, it was I caught the game from about the 70th, 75th minute after I finished work and all that kind of stuff. Seeing the lineup then and realizing that Ilya was on the bench, not starting, was an interesting idea for me. Obviously, we all knew Drew would start. Segura, and we all knew Segura was going to start too. But going into full time at 1-1 with extra time looming, I thought we did quite well. Look, that goal from Tommy, he blasted that. Not many keepers were going to be able to save that going into the back of the net. I'll be honest, Drew was offside from everything I've seen. I don't know how they said he was onside, but for me, he was offside. Araceli, how did you see the second half?
I think we're all in agreement here that Giroud was definitely offsides, and even in his post press conference, he even admitted it himself that he was offside in the run of play. He straight out said it. I mean, there's clips everywhere if you want to go see it, but I mean, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, of course, from a sporting perspective, but again, it wouldn't be a final if there wasn't a little controversy in there.
True, and it's good to have controversy fall our way for once rather than going against stuff like it has multiple times in the past. So 1-1 at full time. We all know that means another 30 minutes of football. Tony, that first 15 minutes of extra time, what happened in that time?
It was, like I said, it's just talking. The energy was there. I was tired. I know a lot of people were tired in the North End, from what you can tell, but we, of course, had to push it forward for the boys and everything. So, and it paid off because in the 102nd minute, with an assist by Oliveira, Campos with a beautiful shot. Again, that shot, there's a reason why he's a young up-and-comer. The reason why Santos uses him, we were using him in the same system. He puts it out and just hits it across the goal outside, perfectly timed. Everything about it was just magical and puts LAFC up 2-1 with a lot of time left, but it was enough to keep the energy high. And I know the stadium erupted so loud, even for a Wednesday night.
Yeah, it did. Like I was driving home, so I had it going on in the car and just hearing the stadium erupt, going 2-1 up. I'll admit I didn't expect the goal scorer to be Campos, not at all. But I'm happy he was able to get up there, get the goal. Araceli, how'd you find that first half of extra time?
I think in the first half of extra time, I'll straight up admit, I was kind of hoping it would go as far as penalties because that is Sporting's strongest point. But watching Ocampos get that goal, he definitely deserved it. And just like how you said, I don't think we necessarily expected him to be the goal scorer, but I am glad that he did get that goal. And that definitely switched the momentum of the game.
100%. You know, going 2-1 up in extra time, knowing you only got to hold off for 15 minutes of holding off for a full 45, something like that. So going into the second half, we're up 2-1, 15 minutes left to play. Tony, what happened?
Kai finally just put the dagger into, unfortunately, Kansas City's heart, which is kind of strange to me because like having a conversation with Araceli's parents, your neighbors, from what I hear. But with a Dennis Bouanga and a very lazy kind of not playing with the ball too much, just there, and Kai wasn't even in the box, and then Bouanga just cuts it off. Kai was honestly, it's his signature, you know what I mean? Being able to jump over everyone, get the ball perfectly headed, everything, puts it out, and scores the dagger, like I said, putting LAFC up 3-1. And honestly, after that, it was just kind of more of us pushing through, LAFC pushing it through to the end. And at the end of the day, we are your new Lamar US Open Cup champions.
Yeah, you know, seeing Kai jump like that, you know, you just when Bronga got the ball, you could see him coming down in the back. The SKC players weren't paying too much attention to him, thinking, here comes the old slow man, which we all know he's not. Gets up there, magnificent goal, adds to his tally of scoring ridiculous goals at all the times and that kind of stuff. Winning the cup feels great. Hopefully we can run it back next year and we can go from there. Araceli, how did you find that last 15 minutes of football?
That last one was definitely a dagger straight to the heart for not only as a KC native, but I know that really hurt for the SKC fans because Kai Kamara has a very long history here. I believe he was here for basically close to a decade. I would need to confirm this, but he was here during the Wizards days. So he's been here for a very long time. So to watch him score that winning goal, it was like you're proud of him, but at the same time, seriously? Really? It had to be you? But I think with that third goal, you could just tell it was game over at that point because yes, Sporting hit the ground running. They had the passion. They were making the plays. But after that third goal, I think they even knew it was over because you could just tell that they were very depleted after that. And very quickly to address what Tony said about him being my neighbor without doxing myself here. Yes, he does live near me and he is known to come back here, especially during the off season. So that's going to be an interesting reunion in the next, 2 months?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if your neighbours welcome him back with open arms or if there'll be a couple of little snide remarks towards him, which could be understandable. But then again, he might just turn around and go, I'm happy in LA. I'm going to stay here and not go back during the breaks and that kind of stuff. So that's the game, guys. You know, now that Lamar Hunt US Open Cup winners. 109 editions that it's been done. Talking to some of the guys back in Australia, let them know it's been that long. And they're like, how does America have a soccer tournament that's gone for that long? Surprisingly, it has. So it's good to see that kind of stuff. Hopefully, a lot more teams that decided to put their twos out this year take this page out of our book and put a main roster in there because, this tournament is a prestigious tournament. We need to keep it going like that. We'll move on to LFC2 news update. Araceli, what's going on with the LFC2?
There is no real update in regards of any player signings or international call-ups, but LAFC2 is going to travel up north this weekend to face the town, aka San Jose, this Sunday. It's a 3:00 kickoff. The match will be on Apple TV, and this is actually their second to last match of the regular season. Looking at the playoff picture, LAFC2 is still in third place with 45 points, actually tied with the town. And they are mostly playing for hosting rights at this point with their next two matches, including this weekend. And what's also interesting is that the boys has a chance to clinch the Pacific Division title with a win, and if Tacoma scores one or fewer points. So they could get a division title by the end of this weekend if everything goes their way.
So hopefully we can get another trophy to put in the cabinet back at LFC HQs. Would be good to see. Tony, any club and community news that we can talk about?
So I'm gonna go for this one, Rico. Of course, the art show is this Sunday at 5 from 9 a.m. It's with Black Army 3252 and AIM. It will be at City of Angels Boxing. So just be able to show up and stuff like that. I will post this all through our socials and everything. It's a great event. It's always good art. Again, all the stuff that I've bought from there has been great, as in just like beautiful pieces from like artists you probably never heard of, from local artists to people in their communities, everything about that. So if you're able to come, show up. There might be some raffles, some players show up, who knows? But that is on top of community news for that one. But I kind of want to give the flowers on this one because we did kind of sway past this, and it wouldn't be right if we did this after a championship win. Is the celebration afterwards with all the players celebrating with not just us and their families, with just celebrating with us, their families, passing the trophy around to everybody. I love that Francisco got to hold that up for all the hard work and everything. And it was just a great celebration of all the heartaches that we've been going through. Mind you, this might be a controversial take. This might be I don't know why you were thinking this, but it's literally just puts a bandage for right now on everything that's been going on, because we're still need to secure playoffs. We are still in a bad season. Like, mind you, SKC wasn't the greatest opponent to have. Yes, they were in the game and stuff like that. But if you look overall in standing wise, it's 12th versus a 4th place team, and we should be playing better than what we are. So moving forward, it's like, again, love that we won this. There's a trophy that we did not have. When we're in any tournament, we are considered to win it every time. So congrats. But again, just a band-aid for right now.
100%. Like, you're looking at two is SKC put all the eggs in this basket. So this was the main game for them. This is what they wanted to win. They know they're not going to go anywhere in the MLS playoffs and all that kind of stuff. They're not even going to qualify for it. So they put all the eggs in this basket. But as you said, yes, we've won a trophy. Now it comes down to the hard part of making sure we get a good run into the playoffs, do good in the playoffs, and bring home another trophy. There's another trophy that we all want, definitely. Now, with that kind of stuff, we'll go into the reactions from everyone here. So we'll go through some of these. But Junior saying, greetings, everyone. Falcon, what's up, guys? LAFC Wood, Wolf, good evening. It was great to meet you, Araceli. Araceli got to meet a few people out there, which is good. Lunch special Geo. I lost my voice screaming at them goals. This is interesting from Geo. Giroud needs to ride the bench for the remainder of his contract. Maybe not remainder of his contract. I don't see him starting next game. I can ride the bench there, but I think he realizes what he needs to do to make sure that we have a successful season going ahead. Football Foo, LFC2 in playoffs, and got Lamar Trash getting here showing the black and gold hearts, which is good to see. Now we're going to the Black and Gold Vinyl Club. Does anybody have any suggestions for this? I've got nothing. Tony?
Honestly, just Queen. We are the champions for right now. This is the best one to do it. It's like after that.
I agree with that. Araceli, you got any suggestions?
Nothing too specific. I mean, I was listening to Evanescence earlier. Could see that.
Well, you never know. Winning this cup could bring us back to life. You know, a little bit of that. For me, I might go to the Queen Pass as well. Another one bites the dust. Another trophy we've collected to add to our cabinet. Keep growing. Get another one. Try and get another one by the end of the season. So I think that might be a good one. Alrighty. So that's all the reactions from you guys. Some of the hot takes. Let's move on to the preview. Our next match is against Cincinnati. That will be tomorrow. Is it a 4:30 kickoff for you guys? I think it is.
Yes, please. So yeah.
Yep, because it's a 10:30 kickoff for me. So is it 10:30 or what time is the kickoff tomorrow for me? That's 9:30 a.m. kickoff. I've got to wake up early for that. So going into that, we are playing Cincinnati. You know, they are going great in the East at the moment. They are sitting second. They are 8 points behind Inter Miami, and they're tied with Columbus Crew, who have a game in hand. So we're going against a team that is having a good run at the moment. Going by their last few games, their last loss was against Inter Miami, and they had a 4-1 win against Montreal, a 0-0 tie with Crew, 2-1 win over Minnesota, and a 2-2 draw with Nashville in the last game. So, you know, the 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss going to this game with us. Tony, what do you think about this game coming up?
This game is going to be a hard one. Cincinnati is one of the top teams in the East. The East has been very strong with Columbus and Miami being one of the other 2 top teams out there. Again, they're still playing for a battle for, we won't say number 1 because like everyone thinks that Miami's going to take that, but there's still a chance that they could take that spot. Also, of course, their rivals down the way are still on. They're still there that they need a battle. So this is going to be a game they're not going to take lightly. We need to come out with points at the end of the day is the whole thing, because again, we still need to clinch playoff spots because we haven't done that. We could have done that a while ago. But again, this is why I said bandage, not full season yet. So it's there. You know what I mean? We might not have the strongest crew. We don't know what little slight injuries has happened since the U.S. Cup final. Long is questionable at the moment from what we saw happening when he got called off the subs off the field. But this is we have to grab points out of this at least to stay manageable in the playoff hunt and playoff clinching process.
100%. You look at it too, like they've had a whole week off, so they won't be running off their feet. They are playing at home, so they're not flying across the country and all that kind of stuff. Going by their injury report, they're missing a couple. They're missing Foster, Hugland, Khan, and Miazga. They've all seemed to been out for a while already, so they're really not missing anyone new. Their last game, they went with a 3-4-1-2. They seem to do that quite often. Last game they had what was their lineup last game? Lineup last game for them was Cilantro in goal, Robson, Murphy, and Awazim. And the back three, then it was Assad, Nubodo, Cubo, and Orellano as the 4 defensive mids. Acosta as a forward mid, and Gioacchini and Santos up top. Looking at their stats for the season as well, they share the goals around quite a bit. They're not really just the one target man. Obviously, Acosta's the top goal scorer with Cubo on 10, 2 goals behind him, and Orlando was on 9. Assists, Acosta is the assist man, 15 assists, followed by Orlando, then Assad, both with 5. So the assists are mainly Acosta. You got to make sure you close him down. But the team can score. That's one thing we got to work out. As for us going to this game, at the moment, obviously, we got 2 players out injured. They're confirmed as being out. We all know one of them is Lorenzo. He's been out all season, and Murillo's still out with a knee injury. We have Long listed as questionable. Because he's listed as questionable, I don't see him going over there. As for the disciplinary, neither teams are missing anyone in that, so no one's on missing 4 red cards. Going to this game, the starting lineup, I think it's going to be a massive change. Araceli, what do you think about the starting lineup? What are you thinking for this game?
I'm sorry, starting lineup for Cincy or for us?
For us. I think we're going to do some big changes for us.
I think for us, yes. No, I'm in agreement with that. I think there is going to be a little roster rotation, not too greatly different. I see, like maybe Kamara starting again, or even seeing. This is a little tough one because we are going against Cincinnati, but at the same time, there's 3 games within a week span with Cincy, St. Louis, and then Sporting. So, sorry, it's just a little hard to predict. I mean,
it is at the moment. Do you think we'll go with the 3-4-3 or the 4-3-3?
I'm thinking the 3-4-3. Put
Tony?
Kamara Mwanga on top.
3-4-3. It's the one that's gotten us here, so.
Yeah, so keep going with the 3-4-3. I can see that too. So with Long out, who's going to be your 3 defensive?
It's probably going to be we have is Chino, of course, Segura, and there is a who am I missing? Oh, Marlon. I'm like, how do we forget? We just picked up Marlon. Marlon's gonna for sure play in this game.
All right, so you're going to go Chino, Segura, and Marlon. I can see that too. Araceli, you happy with those 3?
I definitely see Segura, Chino. I'm going with Long on this one.
Well, Long's that questionable at the moment. So
that's right.
Injury.
That's right.
So that's why we've decided Marlon.
There go Marlon too. Sorry.
Go Marlon too.
Mm-hmm.
Midfield, we're going to start Hollingshead, or is it going to be Palencia and Campos?
Probably Hollingshead.
You reckon Hollingshead's going to get start? Tony?
Hollingshead and Campos, since Campos didn't play too much. I think you get Palencia the rest of it.
Yeah, I see Hollingshead and Campos. Now, your two midfielders. We started Tillman, which was a surprise, and Ilie came on. I think we're going to start Ilie and Atuesta this game. Araceli?
I agree with that. I see Ilie and Atuesta.
Tony?
Ilie and Tuesta.
Right. And up top.
Well, hold on. Maybe Tuesta is, because remember, he didn't start and play at all last game because he was hurt, and that wasn't proven until last fight. So it could be Tillman, to be honest.
Yeah, but at the moment, on MLS, they got updated this morning. Oh, no, not even this morning. This afternoon, about an hour and a bit ago. Yeah, he's not listed on there as being questionable. So I reckon Atuesta will start there. They rested him for that last game, so he'll be fine for this game. But I can see Tillman coming in. Tillman did play. When did he come out? Oh, yeah, Tillman came out in the 112th minute. So maybe Tillman will start. Time will tell. Up top, Bouanga and Bogusz, 100%. They want to play every minute of every game. I'm going to say Kamara will start up there with him. I reckon they're going to let Giroud sit the first half on the bench and then come in at halftime. Tony, what are your thoughts for the three up front?
Bouanga, Oliveira, and Kai, most likely, unless they want to push Giroud a little bit more. Then yeah, I see that.
Araceli?
I do see Kamara, Bouanga, and Oliveira, but with it being Cincinnati, and that's more of a marquee game than the next two, I see Giroud starting and then Kamara coming in the second half.
Okay.
Yeah, that interesting. Like you got the argument for each way. They want to try and push Giroud more, get him more game time, get him more used to the system, and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. Sorry about that. One of my chickens is having a bit of fun at the moment. So looking out for the next games too. Like as you guys said, after this we got St. Louis next week, and then Sporting again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. This would be the most important game at the moment. St. Louis, Sporting out of playoffs. They could be playoff poopers for us, but you never know. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this game. Going into this game, what do you want to see? What's one thing you want to see, Tony?
Honestly, just want to see them just perform and just show out there and go out. Like, just get the tie at this point, just because I know it's going to be a long stretch for right now because of the midday game that we have coming up, and then also another weekend game. So, just for them to show up, not get too many injuries if they can afford to like not get them. But honestly, just put their best effort out on this one, but come out with points, because honestly, we can't afford to drop any more points. We had the opportunity to. We already lost our opportunity to do that a long time ago, and now moving forward, we can't even do that.
Araceli, what do you want to see out of LAFC going to this game with Cincinnati?
I'm very similar with Tony on this, that the harsh reality is LAFC needs the points. Whether they're going to get that in Cincinnati or they're going to get that against St. Louis, or I don't want to see them get it here, but the point is they have not been faring well in their last 5 matches. They need the points. So hopefully they're able to bring their A game and hold off Cincy as long as possible.
Yeah, for me, anything less than a point, I'll be very disappointed. If we can do that, I snatch 3 points, play how we played the cup final, because to me, every game for the rest of the season is another final. We've got to keep that momentum going, keep all that pressure going, and just try and get those 3 points that we need. We need to try and get as many 3 points as we can. But for this one, coming away from Cincy after the big game with a point, I'll happily take that, especially going in against St. Louis and then Sporting KC. So to me, we cannot afford to drop points. We need at least 1 point going in from this game. We'll go through. We've got a couple more questions in here before we wrap this up. LFC Wolf. Tony, was it heavy? How did it feel lifting the trophy? Wolf wants to know.
It was great. I was honestly, it was heavy. Just 'cause I think it was just also like so much energy I put out throughout the whole game. It was just like the last of it, but it was so worth it lifting that thing up. It was, like I said, one of those core memories that I'll never forget all my life. I think it would carry with me my whole life.
What do you think is heavier? That the US Open Cup or the Supporter Shield?
Supporter Shield, 100%. You think the Supporter Shield looks very like, oh, it's not that heavy, but when you pick up that thing is heavy. Like US Open Cup, like what? Like I think it was heavy, but it like I just also didn't want to drop it. I didn't want to be that guy. But the Supporter Shield is for sure heavier.
Yeah, I know I have lifted the Supporter Shield. I sure have lifted it because I was just post-surgery. But yeah, that thing is heavy. All right, we got Marvin in here too. Do you guys think we can do the domestic double, US Open and now MLS Cup? I don't see why not. We just got to make sure that we play with the same passion, play with the same teamwork, make sure that we are switched on for every minute of every game. Araceli, can you see LAFC doing the double?
If they're able to perform well in their next 3 matches, there's a very high possibility. But looking at their current track record, it's just going to be a much tougher fight, especially going against the East right now.
Tony, we do the double.
We need to do the double. The team that we have here is for sure like what we need to do the double. So it's like that's what we made this team for. That's why we bring out the big names. It's like we were talking about winning the MLS Cup. So that's the whole point is like we should be winning cups and we're not. There's a problem here.
100%. As you said, for who we brought in, we should be winning the cups, definitely. That's all the questions from all of you guys at the moment. Another nice, quick Friday night podcast for everyone. We know what time it is. It is final thoughts. Araceli, we'll start with you for your final thoughts.
Final thoughts for me. Like I said earlier, it was great to be back in LA, be back at the stadium, getting to see everyone again, getting to meet new people. I know, of course, I didn't see everybody, but thankfully some of them are traveling here to KC for the game next weekend. Speaking of which, very quickly, I do want to say, if you are traveling to KC and you want recommendations on where to stay, what to do, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have because, yeah, it can be I don't want to say intimidating, of course, but I know it can be a little confusing, especially that Kansas City is technically split into 2 states. So that can get very confusing quickly. But overall, if you are coming to town, I'm definitely excited to see you guys. And yeah, I mean, just that weekend in general, there's a lot of great stuff going on in town. I think everyone would have a great time.
Tony, final thoughts?
Final thoughts is just, be safe out there if you're going to Cincinnati. If you're flying out there. Also, if you are going to watch parties, just drink responsibly and, just support the team you can. Try to get as much rest and recovery that you can. And I will see you guys Sunday at the art show.
Yep. My final thoughts. Again, everyone that's going out this weekend, go have fun, go enjoy yourself, go to the art show. It will be an amazing experience. You'll get to see Tony there, get to see some amazing artwork. You can even buy some of the artwork. It's going to be great. I want to, obviously, before I go into my usual spiel, to everyone that's over in Florida at the moment with a hurricane, stay safe. Look after each other. it's devastating what nature can do. So you've always got to be out there looking after everyone. With that too, there'll be a lot of people that have lost everything that will be feeling down, all that kind of stuff. Mental health does matter. Conversation can save a life. It's not weak to speak your mind, let people know what's going on, reach out, talk to people, make sure they're doing okay, make sure everyone's fine, go for a coffee, take them to the art show, go out for brunch, just go for a walk, clear your head, make sure that you look after your mental health. It is hugely important. With that too, just be safe, guys. Look after each other. And just be a generally good person. And with that, how we always close all our episodes, Araceli,
Stay golden.
Tony,
Stay golden, Los Angeles.
and from me to everyone here, stay golden.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.